Yo, yes, sir. You know what time it is. It is Mo Sports TV.
We're back. We're back. Well,
30th.
It's
May
high
30th.
vibes. It's high vibes for everybody except the guy in the middle right there. That guy right there in the middle is not having the best time the past 24 hours. Unfortunately, Andy B joining us tonight, Mo Sports TV. You already know what's going on. Drop a like, drop a follow, wherever you're coming in from. Yeah, man. Andy B, his Celtics fall to the Miami Heat. I'm sure as we all saw. Andy, it was a valiant effort. It was a very nice attempt at, creating history with the Boston Celtics, trying to be the first team to come down from obviously a 3-0 deficit, unable to, fully commit to it and follow through, but a good effort nonetheless. So, Andy, I tip my hat.
I just got everybody inside. What's good, y'all? You already know it's Mo Sports TV. I'm with the gang, Matchy, and I'm with Andy B, man. Little special appearance by Andy B. What's up, man? What's going on with you?
If you put Boston in 9, that's
Boston in 9.
Boston in 8,
That's
baby.
tough.
Yeah, that was
tough.
yesterday was tough. I mean, history was made either way. I got to give tip my hat to the Miami Heat for the first 8 seed, right? I think for the first second 8 seed.
Second 8 seed
To the
New
Knicks.
York Knicks. Thank you very
it's
much.
been a long time, right, since it happened. So, yeah, I mean, it was a very good effort by the Celtics. A lot of cool moments in that span where they were making it look like they were going to win it. But, no, hats off to Miami. They have a bunch of players that in the playoffs in their careers they've gone off. And, I mean, if you look at Duncan Robinson, Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, those are just guys that play in the playoffs. I mean, we were talking about this team not making the playoffs, and they wound up.
Bro, they literally
they
lost the first play-in game. So they were originally the 7th seed.
They
lost the first play-in game, and then they were losing the first half to the Bulls in that second one. It was looking like Miami's season was over very, very easily. And then, Jimmy Butler turns it on, and Jimmy they want it more. And it was very, very noticeable last night. Very prevalent throughout the game that Miami just literally wants it more. We remember Julius Randle saying that the round previously, right? Maybe they just want it more. Well, I thought about that last night when they were getting out-rebounded by Kyle Lowry and, guys like that coming in over Rob Williams. So, I don't know. It's the Boston Pack is in the air. I'm sorry, Andy.
The Boston, you know how tables turn. Boston was smoking on that Philadelphia pack a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Philadelphia can't.
That Boston green clovers are getting
that green. They're smoking the green.
And they're smoking that green for real. Yeah,
green.
But can we break down why the Celtics couldn't finish it off after? And anyway, first of all, I'm gonna give the Celtics some props for even getting that close, because that was a valiant effort coming down 0-3. I'll give them a props. That's really never happened before.
It hasn't. It's 149-0.
Yeah, I mean, but even going to a game 7 down 0-3, I don't. What's the odds on that?
It had happened 3 times prior, and
3 times prior.
Each time the team was the road game in Game 7 and got whipped up pretty bad. It's happened now 4 times. I think it was 15-point wins in each of them.
Right.
Plus.
So the Boston was 3 ECFs in the last 5 years, 1 finals appearance, and still nothing to show for it, really.
So what are we giving them flowers then for? They can't get over the hump. I'm done giving Boston their flowers. They're a team that relies on talent. They rely too much on their talent, and you just got beat by a team that's less talented but has more chemistry. So I'm not giving Boston any flowers. Like, sure, you came back and you went from down 3-0 to tying it 3-3. Like, you could get a little bit of credit for that, sure. But I'm not sitting here giving you flowers when a lot of people had you winning this series in 6, 5 even. Some people, there were people saying that it was going to be a sweep, all right? So I don't want to hear nothing about flowers. You got out-coached. Joe Mazzulla fucking sucks, pal. Eric Spoelstra just ran laps around you to the point where Miami even bought tickets to Denver before the game even started. They never respected you guys. I don't want to hear it. There's No.
That was a story. I think every team does that. They had to be prepared. I think everybody was tweeting that. So that is a thing that happens all the time. Boston didn't have to do that. They would have hosted game 1.
Miami Heat basketball is a different animal than their regular season basketball. That's just put it there now. They're the second 8th seed to ever get to this point. like you said, they almost didn't even get the play-in off. They almost lost that shit.
It's funny. We kind of were thinking that Golden State was going to be like that, and it was Miami that was like that. They woke up in the playoffs and got back to where they expected to be.
So I know Matt harped on Joe Mazzulla, but I think personally, Joe Mazzulla got outcoached by Spoelstra, but Spoelstra's going to outcoach anybody because he's the best coach in the league, first of all. So, I mean, I have more blame personally on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown for coming up. Well, I would even say Jason Tatum because he got hurt, but he had some stinkers this series. He's had some stinkers this series. So has Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown comes up short game 7. Yes, Jason Tatum gets hurt in the beginning of the game, but that shouldn't be a reason as to why you're just going to fucking give up in a game 7.
I mean, we saw it that Boston, like I said, they are more talented, but they rely too much on the 3 ball. It's literally just all of their game. They're taking it to the rack and they get buckets, and then all of a sudden you come back down the floor and it's a Jaylen Brown 30-footer. Like, what are we doing? You have success attacking the rim, and then you stray away from that the rest of the game. It doesn't make sense. Boston, they don't have any type of offensive scheme. It's just give the ball to one of the super talented offensive players and hope that he could get you a bucket. Jimmy Butler in Miami, they have a scheme every time they're down the floor. And the one thing that Miami never fails to do is to capitalize on any mistakes that you guys make. And that was one thing you saw all night. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they turn the ball over. All of a sudden, that's a Max Strus 3. That's a Caleb Martin 3. Even Jimmy Butler, bro, they make you pay every single time. And that's where Miami's making their money. And despite all that, Nugs in 5.
Yeah. It's funny. In that game, in Game 7, the Celtics started out really well. And then there was a point where they weren't hitting any shots, but neither was Miami. Miami came out freezing cold yesterday, just like Boston. But then Miami went down, hit a 3. And then Joe Mazzulla, on the next possession, the Celtics had a fast break. Joe Mazzulla decided to take a timeout. I don't know why, I guess to settle the offense down. Then the Heat came out, stole the ball, and got another 3. And from that moment on, the momentum was gone. I thought the momentum started to fade as soon as Tatum got hurt. Because it's tough in that spot when your best player, who you obviously needed to have score 30 points,
when he's grimacing.
Clearly, he was grimacing, and it was
first
bad.
few minutes of the
game.
And
I'll tell you why. A big reason why Miami has been winning these series as well is usually they have an unsung hero that comes out of the fucking woodwork. Every single series. Last series it was Strus, right? This series is my big bro, my little bro, Caleb Martin.
The big bro is kind of nasty. That
was kind of nasty.
I remember that. If Ed was here, he would give you something. For that. He would have said
some shit. He would have said,
"That's nasty."
But that my bro, nonetheless, Caleb Martin. That boy went off all series. The Heat have like you guys said, undrafted players, but like they're dogs. Pat Riley knows how to scout players. The Heat know what kind of players they're gonna get. You can never guess what a Heat draft pick is before they draft it. It's always somebody that nobody's ever heard of, and that person winds up making a big role and a big impact later on in that year.
Well, the crazy thing is, I don't think, if you look at the roster, I don't think they drafted anybody other than Bam Adebayo.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they didn't draft Duncan. Well, Tyler Hero didn't play. Duncan Robinson was undrafted. Yeah, Nikola Jovic doesn't play. They don't draft anybody. They pick up. Like, for example, Caleb Martin was literally released, cut for nothing in the middle of the season.
He was just a great value SEMO literally 7 months ago. That was it. Cut from Charlotte, bro. You know how ass you got to be to get cut from Charlotte?
With his brother, and they kept his brother. Yeah, they kept his brother, and his brother was never a better player than him. I don't think, even in college.
Nope.
Like, it just wasn't working out. And Miami has a way of getting something out of you. If you can hit the 3, you can play for Miami. Simple, because you're gonna get open shots. They're so good at spacing the floor. You have to focus on Bam too. The Celtics focus on Bam way too much.
Bam,
they took the wrong guy out of the game. Bam was doing nothing, but they were working on him to do nothing. They didn't need to focus on Bam, and they did. And it cost them badly.
So, did Jimmy Butler deserve Eastern Conference MVP?
No, it should have been Caleb Martin.
I don't think so, but you can. I've heard people make the case that in the games that they won, Jimmy Butler was the best player on the floor, other than yesterday, obviously.
That's a good argument, right?
Which is
true.
The
thing is, the most valuable player, I think, like Caleb Martin's value going into that series was nothing near what it is now. right? He moved his stock so much just in that series alone to where I feel that he is the most valuable player because like Simo said, there's always the one guy that rises to the occasion. And when he is that guy, I feel like that's what makes you most valuable. So I understand why Jimmy got it. He's the heart and soul of the team. He's the guy. Himmy Buckets just got trademarked so he can make a clothing line out of it. Interesting.
And Barstool was taking that name and running it up with it.
Shaking my head, but I think that Caleb Martin ultimately deserved it. It would have been cool for a guy like Caleb Martin to get an award like that. So I don't know.
And Jimmy Butler yesterday on the stage wouldn't take the trophy. Right? He said, "I'll hold the next one. Let's not do that."
I think Jimmy Butler deserved it honestly because he was the most consistent player.
I could
on
understand
Miami,
that. But and
Caleb Martin didn't have crazy games back to back every single series.
Yeah, there is something to
Jimmy Butler had at least 20 something every single game.
Jimmy's great.
He played his part and he played hard. He really didn't get cooked on defense.
And that's why it's so
He's
hard.
the glue that made everything, go.
It's so hard to root against Jimmy Butler because he's such a good guy. Yeah, I love Jimmy Butler. Such a hard worker. It's a good story. He's literally the guy that he doesn't have the best wingspan. He's not the crazy prospect coming out of the draft, but he's here, overall. And he willed his team to the finals. And he had way more dog in him than anybody on the Celtics does. And so that leads me to ask you guys, where does Jimmy Butler now rank? Because there's a lot of debate to be had. Like, how does a guy like that elevate you, to this level? Where does he rank among the rest of the NBA? Do you guys have him now, as a piece of your top 10 solidified? I don't know. It's so stacked, but at the same time, those guys in your top 10 towards the ends, they're not doing this with their teams. They're not willing them past other crazy, crazy superstars like Tatum, so on. So I don't know. Giannis. I don't know.
Me personally, he's if he is top 10, he's 10.
I don't think he's even top 10. I think maybe 15th. But the reason, and I know I saw it a lot on Twitter, you see when he does really well, everyone talks about it. But Saturday he shot 4 of 20 from the field. They don't talk about it.
Right.
And I get it. There's some stars that they treat better than other stars. I 100% understand. Jimmy Butler's a good guy who has been kind of treated badly in the media in the past, and they're trying to make up for it. Because he is a great guy. He's not the guy that they painted him out to be in Minnesota. He's a really good dude. So I understand why they talk about him like that, but he's not at that level. He's a great player, and he's a top 15, but you're not going to see me put him in a top 10 and top 5 because he just isn't consistent as
if there was guy. 2 different players, playoff Jimmy is top 10. Mm-hmm. Oh, he could arguably be top 5 playoff performer. And that's what really honestly really matters. So that's what really gets. But his overall piece of work throughout the whole season.
You can say that. Who are we also? We're talking about the other people on the team. There's certain guys like Giannis a few years ago. Even Tatum when he was playing well. The Game 7 against the Sixers. Mm-hmm. You talk about that guy. Who are we talking? We were just talking about he might not have deserved the MVP. Caleb Martin was playing great. All the guys around him played great. Jimmy Butler doesn't need to do everything that a top 10, top 5 guy needs to do. So he can't really be considered that because he doesn't have to do it. Because he has so many good teammates.
I mean,
so tough, bro.
It's the dog factor.
Oh, he is a top 5 player when he faces Celtics. He might have a gripe against that. He has said, I think it was JJ Redick's podcast, he said he wanted to play for the Celtics. A few years ago when Chicago was trading him, the Celtics were really interested. I think that was for Jaylen Brown, and I just think they decided not to do it. And
that would have been actually a very fair swap.
I know. Looking back, I wanted him multiple times because even when he was a free agent, I wanted him when we were losing Al Horford. But they never went that way.
They would have made that play, make him and Tatum. Butler would have put that dog inside of Tatum.
Oh, 100%.
Pause.
Yeah, that was
the one that is nowhere. But the one thing everybody talks about what player is most like Kobe. I mean, in terms of their mentality, it's 100% Jimmy Butler.
Shout out Kobe.
He's next level.
But yeah, I don't know. Tatum definitely doesn't have that Kobe. I know he was probably texting him after the game, but buddy, you had shit running down your thighs for a good 3 quarters. I don't know.
Anybody got that number so I could stop seeing that?
So what happens next for Boston? What are they going to do this offseason? What's going on? Are they gonna blow? I don't see them blowing it up. I don't know. No. What's going on with Joe Mazzulla?
keeping them, and they're just going to build around, I guess.
I had 2 names as assistant coaches that I think would be interesting. Terry Stotts, he was just a coach in Portland for a long time.
Terry Stotts.
Getting somebody that's been on the head coach, and probably not going to happen, but Mark D'Antonio is also a name that came.
D'Antoni?
Mike
D'Antoni. You want that 3-and-D offense?
Literally no 3-and-D.
Not even
threes.
Joe Mazzulla
Threes, no D.
Yeah, they can keep running the offense they were running because I actually didn't hate it. But they need a guy who's a veteran guy on that bench because if you look at their assistant coaches, none of them have any head coaching.
I don't hate this. They should go get Miles Turner and target Gary Trent in free agency. Miles Turner isn't a guy that I like hate on the Celtics because I think that's an upgrade over like Al Horford. But the thing is, I really don't imagine a scenario where him and Rob Williams coexist.
Yeah, Miles Turner is going to make too much money too. I think he already does. Right, he makes $30 million a year. They can't afford that.
And I think they got some re-signings they have to do. Grant Williams,
Cornette, Pritchard.
Pritchard will have some value. The other 3 guys.
I mean, Muscala, Cornette, and Blake Griffin are all cut candidates.
They're out of there.
Yeah, I've been reading it. Muscala's an non-guaranteed. Cornette, non-guaranteed. Blake Griffin is a free agent, so he's unrestricted, so he won't be back. So.
Is it crazy to go for Chris Middleton? I mean, I don't think
can't afford it.
Can't afford it.
Yeah.
How are you going to pay Jaylen Brown then?
Yeah, they're not. I want them to trade Jaylen Brown because I think it will help them. Jaylen Brown probably will still be a Celtic.
Forgotten guy on here.
Danilo is also, he has a player option.
His ACL tear, he's going to opt in.
He'd be an idiot not to opt in. It's only it is only a $6 million option, but he's going to opt into that.
So that works for him. Yeah. $6 million is going.
$6 million is good. Coming off an ACL tear, like what does he have to lose?
So, what's he going to? I mean, is he going to come back and be the guy? Who knows? They're going to lose.
He's going to chuck us some threes.
They're going to lose Grant Williams. We were just going through it. It's a mere impossibility unless they're willing to pay like $80 million in luxury tax. It's not possible
unless you want to end up like totally sacrificing $33 million in sum for Grant Williams. Like that doesn't seem worth it to me.
Yeah, I don't think Grant is taking the 1 year, $12 million mid-level exception. They can use that to their advantage to get like if Rui Hachimura is having trouble getting
he's going to get re-signed.
Yeah, like
I think they're going to get
Lakers are bringing back Rui.
They're going to need that type of player. That's the only additions they're going to be able to make. The Jaylen Brown thing's not going to happen as much as I think I would like to see them break up the core in that sense, just because I think how many times do they need to get a chance together, right? Like how many kicks do they get? They've had 4 now, so I think Boston addition is going to be through subtraction. They're going to have to cut the loose fat off. I think Brogdon could be a guy that you could get some value from.
I don't really like Brogdon, bro. I can't lie.
I know, but
he
is
series shot like he wears a backpack. It's disgusting.
We were talking
he's
about
sold, but he's good.
Yeah, he's sold. That's the thing. I can't get with guys that sell in the playoffs.
We were talking about Brunson's contract, right? And like he's obviously much better than Brogdon, obviously, but serviceable point guard making $22 million. That's a pretty good deal. So that's still a guy for 2 more years that has some value. So that could get him back something. I think they need a true big man coming off the bench because
that's what I think. They need somebody
big. Is not a big
Robert man. Williams is what? How tall is Robert Williams?
6'9".
6'9". They need a 7-footer Brooke Lopez.
I like Naz Reid, but I don't know. He's going to get too much money, I think.
I heard if the Knicks are looking to move from Obi Toppin, Naz Reid is one of the first guys.
Naz Reid's going to be
straight out of
He's going to get
Park.
a bag this offseason. That's a guy.
He's local.
If the Knicks look to get Obi off for a potential first rounder, late first, then that's a scenario where the Knicks would then go after Naz Reid. That's the word on the street. That's what I've heard from sources. But
is Naz Reid an unrestricted free agent?
Yes.
Okay, that's dope.
Yeah, and he's going to get paid, and because he's been having
he
had a few 25-point games.
Honestly, I'm taking Naz Reid over Obi Toppin all day.
I
can't even lie. That's an upgrade off the bench,
especially if you're getting picks out of Obi. Yeah.
I just read that the Lakers are very interested in him. They're another team that would only be able to afford the 1 year, $12 million. I think Naz Reid's going to get a hell of a lot more than that. Like,
I'll give Naz Reid $15 million.
The Knicks are a team the Knicks are probably the best example of a team that can compete next year for the title and that has a little bit of salary, like even just a little.
We got room to work with.
Yeah,
we got a lot of picks. We got a little bit of money.
Don't let us get Fournier off the books. Don't let us. That's
going to be a tough
one. He's an expiring contract this year.
This coming year. Yep. All right. Aside from this, we got obviously Miami going up against the powerhouse of the Denver Nuggets. Now, a lot of us have gave Miami their flowers for overcoming, all the doubt and everything like this, getting to this point. Not many people expected Miami to be in the finals. But listen, there's a time when enough is enough, and, you have to close the chapter, because I think Nikola Jokic is about to abuse Bam Adebayo.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough.
It's gonna be a long series for Bam.
You look like you have a face there. Do you think he's gonna be able to even compete? He wasn't able to compete with Rob
Williams, bro. He got outplayed by Rob Will for 2 straight games.
I'm not thinking my face is the whole team. I think low key the Heat have a chance in the series.
It's so dependent,
because this is what we were saying before the Celtics series. This is what we were saying before the Knicks series. This is what we've been saying about Miami the whole fucking time.
What's the difference? Who has the Joker? Who has?
I mean, they have the Joker. I think
that's the ultimate. That's the ultimate card up the sleeve, literally. The Joker.
I do think the Nuggets win, but like I said before last round, shit ain't sweet with the Heat. That's all I gotta say.
You're not wrong,
shit ain't sweet with the Heat. That's all I gotta say. True. That's all I gotta say.
Here's what I have. I have Denver winning in 6 games, because ultimately I think the wing depth of Denver overcomes anything Miami has bench-wise. I think Aaron Gordon, KCP, the list goes on. You go Jeff Green, like MPJ. These are guys that are just stretching the floor, and they're massive bodies that are going to be just wearing and tearing on Miami. And I think ultimately that's what's going to happen.
And they're fresh. I think that's a big deciding factor on why I think the Nuggets will win as well. They're very fresh. Miami is fucking hurting.
Mm-hmm.
That was a rough ass series that they put themselves through for no fucking reason. A lot of stress, a lot of bullshit. Nuggets were chilling watching the game.
I have the Nuggets in 7 for the complete opposite reason, which you just said. I think because they're a team that so focuses on 3-pointers in the Nuggets, they're going to come out. I expect them to come out like the Celtics did yesterday and just cold. The Heat are on fire right now. We saw them yesterday. They were drilling every shot. They shoot at a high percentage from 3. If they're better off not having the days off, because if they had the days off, they could go very cold. So
this is my point right here. Caleb Martin's your starting power forward going against Aaron Gordon.
You're right.
Now Caleb Martin, bucket, absolute bucket.
100%.
Physicality wise, LeBron James was the one that was going up against Aaron Gordon last series, right? Yes. And Aaron Gordon got his on the glass. He got his still.
Who's gonna guard Jimmy Butler?
Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
He starts?
Are you putting MPJ
or
on him?
Will Barton? What are we doing?
I don't know.
Here?
Truthfully, I think Jamal Murray is a capable defender on Jimmy Butler.
Oh.
I don't think so.
Jamal Murray isn't a barn door.
No, he's not. You're right. But I don't know if he has the strength.
See, the thing is, if I'm Denver, I'm not double teaming Jimmy Butler.
No, you don't have to.
Because I'm not living with the Jimmy Butler driving kick to a Max Strus, Duncan Robinson, all these guys.
Well, Max Strus,
Bruce Brown. I forgot about Bruce Brown when talking about the depth. He could guard Jimmy Butler.
No, that's what I just said, Bruce Brown.
Did you?
That's why I think.
Oh, I said Will Barton, but I meant to say Bruce Brown.
Oh, okay.
I meant to say Bruce Brown. My bad.
No, Bruce Brown's a great piece, bro. He's a great bench piece.
I still don't see him really like. If Jimmy wants to get 30 up any night, I think he can go ahead and do that. But I also think Jokic is going to have a career series and really solidify himself as the best player in the NBA.
My guess is the Nuggets lose game 1. I think it's just they come out cold enough that they can't get back. But other than that, I have it in 7, but I could very much see the Nuggets going on like a 3-game winning streak after that. I just think Thursday will be rough for the Nuggets just because it would have a week and a half now before they had played another game. Like that makes a difference when you shoot so many threes. Like you can't tell me if they come out hot as could be. I'll be completely wrong, but I think they'll have a struggle to do that.
They haven't had a bad game this whole year.
Who, the Nuggets?
Yeah.
At home? Hell no. They're 43-7, right? Come on, bro.
They are one of the most fundamental teams, man. They're just so good.
They have a little bit of an advantage. Miami's coming.
I'm guessing Lowry won't play this series. I mean, what did I say about Jamal Murray last series? He has to cook anybody on the other side. That's a traffic cone. Kyle Lowry's unplayable right now. And damn near Duncan Robinson, too. He better watch himself because he could be unplayable.
Well, they can't
very fast.
They're food.
They are cooked.
They're food. Jamal Murray, if they're guarding Jamal Murray, they're going to be food.
Because even D'Angelo Russell was playing not horrible defense. He was giving effort. And that's really what a big part of defense
Miami
is.
Heat player, D'Angelo Russell.
You think so?
No, did you see that report today?
No, I didn't.
Him and his agents expect them to offer him a deal and to be there.
Interesting.
Which would break that team apart, I'm telling you right now. But we'll get to that later.
Tyler Hero could be back by game 3.
But again, I love Tyler Hero. What is that doing for you? The whole time we've talked about this, we've talked about their defense. What is that doing for you defensively?
I mean, I'm plugging in Tyler Hero and wherever Duncan Robinson was getting minutes, and that's
I don't know though, because that's gonna break away from your because how does Tyler Hero score? He's a playmaker. He needs the ball. That breaks away from your kick it, your Jimmy Butler kick it and shoot. That
homeboy Tyler is pulling up.
Love
if
Tyler.
There's one thing that Tyler can do, he
the
can
ball
shoot
most of the time to score.
Look, this is the thing with Tyler Hero. It's either going to make the Heat relevant in this series or is going to absolutely fucking kill them, because we all know Hero, he's not 100% consistent 3-point shooter. Like, he goes on cold streaks. And if he comes in rusty and he's jacking and he's taking the ball out of Jimmy's hands, that's gonna kill the Heat offense, just like Andy said. But he could come in hot.
That's what we've seen.
He could come in with the dagger, and he's done it before.
The Heat devil magic,
and that will take that series to 7. Just off of that alone, might break that series to 7.
I'll be interested to see what the first game he comes in and plays. It'll be very interesting because
we'll know off rips what's good.
I think him not playing against the Celtics probably won them that series, because the way the Celtics were able to focus on we're focusing on Jimmy too much actually helped the Heat. They would have been able to just go base up one-on-one, man-to-man with everybody of Tyler, because they would have had to focus on Tyler Hero too. Now the Nuggets have defenders everywhere. All right, we're talking about them. They have great defense. So I don't know if it'll help them against the Nuggets.
Who's defending MPJ? It's a good question, because you're
going
to put
they're
on the same team.
Oh, goddamn. What the fuck?
Jimmy's going to be on Jamal Murray. And then Max Strus or Caleb Martin?
It's pretty clear.
Jesus Christ.
Eric Spoelstra said it yesterday. When you have great defenders, when your best players are your great defenders, that's good. But their best defender, probably, I guess, Jimmy Butler. But Bam Adebayo is supposed to be one of their best defenders. He's going to be cooked this series. So, they're not going to have a good defensive series.
If Bam's on MPJ, then Jokic is just going to go ballistic, bro.
Who are you putting? This is my thing.
I mean, what?
You pick your poison at this point.
If you're Miami, you have no other option than to make Bam Adebayo try to guard him, because, the only other option is Cody Zeller. So there's no other options.
Are we talking about Hollywood Highsmith?
Yeah.
Haywood Highsmith, right?
Highsmith. I think
they still got Yurt 7 too, right?
Yeah.
Yurt 7 might have to just stand in the paint in this, because they have nobody that's tall enough
guard
to guard Jokic.
Nobody.
So it's gonna be Bam, and that means that everybody else is just gonna eat. Because Strus isn't a good defender.
It's real soft down there.
See, the thing is, I really like this series, especially against Boston. I look at Bam Adebayo, empty stats guy. I don't care how good this guy can have appearances in the regular season or whatnot. But I look at him and I know when it comes down to it, whoever he's going up against, if it's a guy of the level of Jokic, or even if it was going to be AD, I know that Bam Adebayo is not doing anything to stop him. I saw a tweet yesterday and it said, despite Bam Adebayo's best efforts, Miami is still up 11 points going into the half.
Halftime, right?
And it's like, yo, this guy, when he's not providing moving screens, he really isn't doing anything on the floor. And most of his game revolves around him giving that moving screen or, a shove, something of that sort. So I don't know. He sucks in my head. That's my point.
Yeah.
Damn sucks.
Even
he sucks. I can't take him seriously. I don't even think, at this point, not even top 35, 40. I really am going that far with it. He's not a good basketball player in my mind.
There were defense talking about wanting to trade him while they were clinching their spots. Literally in the fourth quarter, they were like, man, I can't wait for him to be off the team this season. I'm like, you're about to go to the finals and you're talking about one of your starters being off the team. But another thing is, who are you replacing him with if you're the you don't have much money either. Like,
Siakam.
Siakam could be a potential
Udonis Haslem game 7 just locks
if Haslem comes in and gives Jokic problems, bro.
That's some real script shit right there.
Script shit.
That if I see some bullshit like that, I'm turning my fucking TV off.
No, if
I see Haslem give some fucking shit to Jokic.
Especially because we remember that clip of Tyler Hero tossing him like that alley-oop, and he folded like a fucking lawn chair. So if he comes out and is giving Jokic problems,
try to guard Tatum
that's
in
a
the
script.
Season?
The script will be scripted.
That's a
Scott
whole
Foster will be the head fucking official.
That's another thing.
Word.
Who's gonna be the official for game 1? I want to know.
I don't think they announced it yet.
The Heat fans, I'm not on Heat Twitter. I am now because I was liking all their posts. Like, they talk about the refs more than any fan base, more than anyone.
So can we talk about the ref story? Eric Lewis having a burner real quick.
Yeah, Eric Lewis definitely does have a burner. That is unreal. And I think the thing is
definitely him, because every single tweet is about Eric Lewis.
Bro, ain't nobody going around defending Eric Lewis.
Who's doing that?
Like,
come on,
dog.
Come on. The account claimed it was his brother, but that's obviously a load of
That's
shit.
a nasty bag. Come on, that's a cope. That's coping right there. I mean, I believe that now there's so much surrounding the whole who's reffing the game. Oh, Scott Foster with the CP3. Once that came to light, the NBA instantly threw out anything out the window that they may even have potentially had, right? And we're speculating that they even were scheming using referees against certain teams. Now, when all of that information became like a noted thing in sports, that got thrown out the window. Like, do we seriously think that they're working with that? Like, they can use whoever they want.
No, yesterday's crew was a perfect example. They were all, well, I think the Heat
anti-Miami, right?
Yeah, they were all anti-Miami.
Tony Brothers, Scott Foster, and they won.
They actually made calls that favored Miami at a heavy rate. There was 2 times they clearly traveled, clearly stepped out of bounds, got the bucket, and it didn't matter because they didn't call it, so they got the points. When it was favored Miami. Like,
well,
no,
I feel like
I
feel like refs are fit to make certain narratives happen. And
yes,
the narrative switches daily in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they just go with the flow and go with what they want, and the narrative, the best possible narrative.
I think they're directed toward that. I think in Eric Lewis's case, it seemed to be it was heavy Celtics. Like, he had a team specifically in his mind that when he refs them, he roots for them. Like, I feel like,
and that's crazy.
Do I think the NBA tells certain refs, like Scott Foster, like, hey, tonight we'd fit? I think we want them to favor the Heat's calls because we want them to win, extend the series. Yeah, I'm sure that happens, and it might not come to fruition. There just might not be the opportunity. But like a perfect example, the Jimmy Butler 3-pointer, he did double dribble. They didn't call it because they're not going to call it in that spot.
Dribble.
They can't call it in that spot.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, so like they're not going to call that because then they're gonna have everybody like, oh my god, they gave it to the Celtics, and there's people doing that anyway with the time. So like it didn't matter. But yeah, I think there's directive, but I think there's certain times where just the flow of it goes a different direction.
Okay. Let's talk about some coaching swaps. Nick Nurse to Philly. How do we like that?
I love it.
Yeah, and I like Nick Nurse. I mean, he chose Philly over Phoenix, which I think
interesting.
Smart, because I think there's
they're both
smart.
They're both at the end of their timeline.
Flexibility in Philly right now, I think.
I think so too. Just a little bit more room to breathe. Yeah.
If Harden leaves, then he'll have a lot more leeway to lose.
And I think Harden's out. I think Harden's
he is. I think he's a rock. He's already living in Houston. You know it.
Those strip clubs have to be
100%. He's already got his
immaculate. Like, I can't, for him to want to go back to Houston. Like, all they have down there is the Udoka Stroka. Aside from him, I mean, there's no talent on the roster.
That's another thing. Wouldn't you want to go to a place with a young head coach like that that's going to let you eat?
Yeah,
you want? I mean, why not? Like, what's Udoka going to say to him if they don't have anybody? Like, if they got Jaylen Brown, I get it, but like,
don't they? Who has the second pick? Who has
Charlotte?
Hornets have the 3rd pick then. I mean the Rockets.
No. Rockets have the 4th pick.
Yeah, Rockets are 4th.
Rockets
they got
are
scammed.
Probably the biggest loser other than the Pistons.
The Pistons
they
are losers too.
They're getting one of the Thompson brothers who I do not believe are going to be good players.
Yeah,
I think they are all right. I think Scoot and Wemby are the big dogs. Obviously, I like Brandon Miller a lot.
That's why I mean, look, we were past him already. I think the Jaylen Brown for the 3rd pick deal would be great because I think Brandon Miller would be a really good replacement for him. But
so I think ultimately, though, Doc Rivers or Nick Nurse is an upgrade, massive upgrade over Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
So I ultimately think that is good for Philly in the end, right? Like we were saying to Double R all season, anybody but Doc, got to get that guy out of there. And this is a great comment. Embiid's seat is going to get a little bit warm if you can't make it. And I don't just think a little bit. It's going to be on fire if you don't make it past the second round next season. Absolutely.
I need to know who the second star is.
Is he going to get a second star?
Yeah, if it's him and Tyrese Maxey, guess what? They might make
they're 5th, 6th.
Yeah, they're not.
If that's the case.
But if they go out and they get him something like, I mean, Damian Lillard's not getting traded there, but like if they got him something,
why not?
I mean, I just think. Sorry, Damian Lillard's unmovable right now. Who's taking that contract right now? He makes $60 million next year. Like,
yeah, Harden makes 50.
Harden makes 32 next year. Well, it's an option, so I guess he's gonna make more. But like, we all know he's opting out of that because he's gonna go back to Houston anyway. So like, it's so weird. I can't justify taking on that Damian Lillard contract if you're Philly, but I'm sure there will be somebody that comes out.
So I'm saying Harden is gonna get upwards towards 50 from the Rockets.
They do,
and he's gonna drive up the price. So regardless, it's a different situation. But I don't think Portland's gonna move him. I don't think Portland's gonna move him because they would have moved the pick. They would have moved the pick.
We'll see draft night. There's a lot of smoke about that pick. I think everybody should be wanting that pick right now because I'm not convinced that Hornets are going with Scoot at 2.
I'm not either. Like, I'm not fully
you
sold
could
on
fall into probably
they might get Brandon Miller.
That's the thing. He's better fit.
He fits them way better. But the thing is, Scoot, if you pass up on Scoot,
so enticing.
And like, all of a sudden he is a generational talent, which he easily can be.
Here, so
he easily can be with his physicality. Like that build is ridiculous.
Did you see Bleacher Report put out one of those mock trades for the number 1 overall pick, and it was like Boncaro.
With the Magic,
Suggs, the Magic,
7 first rounders.
Like shut up! They're taking Wemby.
They're taking Wemby. There's nothing.
Were the Cavs ever going to trade the LeBron? No, it's not happening.
I actually have been scripting up a little bit of a take myself that I was going to put into a solo video, and I'll ask you guys about it. I think, is it worth it to at least take calls if you're the San Antonio Spurs on the number 1 overall pick? And I would say yes. I want to hear what other teams
100%.
at least have to offer. I'm not saying you have to take anything too seriously, but if you're intrigued, I'm at least taking calls on what
they have like unlimited cap space.
I'm not
too.
taking any
no
calls.
Salary.
Is there anything?
100%.
I'm taking a call. There's nothing, no such thing as a guaranteed perfect pick, right? We've never seen that unless maybe LeBron.
Let's say you get a call from somebody and they're willing to give you like 3 top tier players that they have, or 2 top tier players. 2 is better than 1, and like Wemby's not gonna be able to do it himself next year. Like I take the call. I know
Philly's like, fuck it, let's blow it all up. I'm giving you Joel Embiid and like 4 first-round picks.
And you know what? You'd have to give me Maxey too, and then I take it.
I would.
Hypotheticals. But like, all right, I figured I'd ask.
No, I love that. I love the idea of teams calling them because I think Popovich would consider it because like he's not going to be a part of this rebuild. He knows it. Like
but I mean, no, they're definitely taking Wemby, but I just wanted your opinion if it's worth.
I think it's worth talking about it for sure. There is no guarantee, right? Wemby could get hurt in so you never know. So like, it is always safer to at least try. But no, I don't think they're trading it.
I'm not giving them
because then they risk
fuck that shit. I'm taking my guy. I'm taking the generational talent.
So if you're Potter, just hanging up the phone.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Okay. Fair. All right, Adrian Griffin coming in as the Milwaukee Bucks head coach. I think that's a great hire. I mean, everyone's picking out of Toronto, out of that championship coaching staff now.
It's all gone now. Right?
So yeah, it is all gone aside from Masai. So, and he's even considering heading out of there soon. But I think that was a good signing. I definitely think that he brings that defensive nature that Milwaukee really, their players enjoy, but I don't think Budenholzer pushed it as much. So I think now they're going to have a really good defensive identity. And then the other thing is just where they're going to get their playmaking from. And when you have Giannis Antetokounmpo, guy like Chris Middleton, I'm not concerned. So good hire in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it kind of signals there's probably a change coming over there. Maybe one of their top guys, obviously not Giannis, but like maybe one of the other 2 guys is being maybe dealt away. You don't know.
Chris Middleton's a free agent.
Is he
no, he's unrestricted.
Is it an option or is it obviously
they got to give him a bag. Him and Brooke, right?
Him and Brooke, I'm pretty sure are free agents. So they got it. a very
Am I re-signing Middleton?
monumental offseason ahead.
They got to give both of them a bag, and especially now, Brooke Lopez in his old age is all of a sudden a defender, winning an award
Brooke
like
Lopez
that.
has had the weirdest career in the NBA.
I respect it.
He was
net.
He was really good,
bro. Like
franchise
like
23 a game at one point.
He's really good now. Like he does his role perfectly now. He hits threes and plays defense. Like he's
a great player. He's a great NBA player.
What up, Nick? How we doing?
Love that. So.
What up?
I'll let Chris walk. Ooh, I don't know.
That's what I
that's kind of like at that point though, you're breaking up the core. Like, and the championship, that dynasty, I guess, if you want to call it, it's not a dynasty, but if we want to refer to it just for the sake of the conversation as a dynasty, you're throwing that window, that core out the window at that point.
But can they really bring back that whole team after just getting mollywopped in the first round by the 8 seed?
I don't know.
What the Heat have done is that help them a little bit, build their team a little more, because like you're not going to make massive changes because in theory they lost to the Eastern Conference champions. So like I guess it helps them a little bit, but I don't know.
Lopez has had like 3 different rebirths. Yeah, that's awesome though. Like good for him.
He was a Laker.
He was a Laker.
I remember I think I was watching a show where I saw it. Like he was a New Jersey Net and then a Laker. Like he's had a weird.
That's when he dropped off a little bit as a Laker. He was crazy on the Nets. Then went to the Lakers, fell off a little bit.
Got iced out.
Yeah. I don't remember where he went after that.
Not to. Where did he go? I know he ended at the Bucks. But
anyone want Donovan Mitchell? No. Anyone? Is that where Cavs fans are at now? Oh my goodness.
Donovan Mitchell, the Cavs done fucked up because I'm telling you right now, Donovan Mitchell said he ain't re-signing shit this offseason, and he's gonna be a free agent next year.
It's so weird.
He's a free agent next year. So
in New York.
Interesting. Interesting. Maybe even Brooklyn he might go to. Low key. He can go to Brooklyn.
He went straight from LA to Milwaukee.
Hey, Donovan. Aren't you mad you didn't come to the Knicks?
It's so crazy that they made that.
That's Ainge's fault. Back. They ain't have really nothing to do with Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell had his bags packed, ready to go to New York. He was ready. He thought he was going to New York.
But be honest with yourselves. Danny Ainge did exactly what he should do. He got.
Of course he did.
Oh, he's fantastic at his job.
Like he did. I mean, he built this Celtics core. He's gonna build a core in Utah because he has the picks to do it. Like credit to him and the Cavs just. I mean, I don't even know who their GM is now. It's still Kobe Altman. Like, it's not. That was a terrible. Looking back, 2 teams completely screwed their franchise for long term, and it was Minnesota and Cleveland. Looking back, it's just
they gave up a lot of depth and a lot of picks for Mitchell. But like, we'll see what happens. Maybe he stays and takes.
But if he stays, that team's not even close.
They can't build anymore. They lost all their assets, like Andy said. You got nothing else to build with. You're looking to build something, and you got no juice to start off with.
Nothing.
Flew your load too early.
Tough scene.
Yep.
Hate for it to be them.
You see that stat that Pat Riley has been in 25% of all NBA finals in some form. That is, he sold his soul. Done. Conversation's over. That's it.
Also played in a college national championship too. He's amazing.
He's incredible.
He's a champion.
He is incredible. He's just a winning person. I mean, you can't even say got like coach. He's not even player. He's a winning guy.
Yeah. He was a better coach than he is a GM too. Because we were talking about him early in the year. We were like, this guy screwed up the Duncan Robinson contract, the Tyler Hero, but it just seems to always work out for him when the playoffs come around. And he hired easily the best coach, and I think I saw the story before. LeBron wanted his Spoelstra fired, and he said, no, you leave. And he let LeBron walk, and it worked out crazily enough. So, it
did work out.
Guy's amazing. I think there's a Mount Rushmore of NBA personalities. Him and Phil Jackson are the first 2 on that Mount Rushmore, man.
And then Rit Holzman. I mean, all-time great coach, right?
I think I'd put a player on there next.
MJ. I think
one
Ritz
of the
has
2
to
MJs.
be on there.
Yeah, it's crazy. Coaches make a big difference too. Go watch Last Dance.
All right, let's move on to the NFL. We got a couple of topics left. D-Hop is released from the Cardinals.
After all, I was
now he's a complete free agent, free to go anywhere. Chad, who do you got him going to? Obviously, is coming down to 2 teams right now. The Chiefs and the Bills. The rich will get richer once again. What else is fucking new? Where does he end up signing? The Bills or Chiefs?
Kansas City.
Why?
If he goes to the Bills, that team's Stephon Diggs gonna blow up.
I said to my dad yesterday that there's just so much more appeal in Kansas City being that Andy Reid is the coach. I don't think players look at Sean McDermott nearly the same. Well, I think this is a big selling point. Yeah, that's what I mean. He's been very, very questionable as a head coach when it's just him taking the reins. And I think the big difference is that Andy Reid, they have the perfect coaching tree over there. And that's something that a veteran guy, 5-time Pro Bowler like DeAndre Hopkins, I think he wants to be a part of something that's already built and come in and just help them continue that. And I think there's just too much going on in Buffalo where he would have to establish his whole identity in the offense. Andy Reid could plug you in easily and you're in there with one of the best quarterbacks to ever touch the pigskin. Buffalo, he'd have to work for his spot, not seriously because he's DeAndre Hopkins, but he's going to have to make his identity in that offense of all deep balls, where DeAndre Hopkins is a little more shorter route runner. You know, he's that quick slant guy. So I don't know. I think Kansas City's the better spot.
I think the Chiefs make more sense just because there's no like super duper true number one receiver.
Yeah, and they lost Juju, right? So
yeah. I mean,
doo-doo shit Pooster, he's out of there.
He had a Super Bowl touchdown, right?
He did.
It just makes more sense. And honestly, Mahomes is better than Allen.
Oh, yeah.
Andy Reid is better than McDermott. The Chiefs have it together.
And like,
there's going to be Super Bowl contenders no matter what every single year, just because of who their coach is and who their quarterback is.
You don't have to worry about not getting the ball. Like Stephon Diggs is going to want. Stephon Diggs last year was yelling at Allen on the sideline, and he was getting the ball all the time.
And now, why is that? Would you see that on Andy Reid's sideline? Never, bro. Never. You would never see anything like that. And I think the players have much more respect for him.
Yeah, like that team clearly has the best chemistry in football too. They're all their players like each other. Like everything's, all the signs point to KC to me, but like
I think it's slot.
The opposite,
Tony Pacheco, like Kelsey. Come on, man, it's in there. He's in there.
What is this Browns situation? Like everybody's saying the Browns. Is it
because of Watson?
Yeah,
like that might have something. Obviously, money's gonna come down to it too. Like I'm sure somebody will pay him more than everybody else, and I thought the Giants would be a part of that, but I guess clearly not. Like, but. I think if it's purely from a football standpoint, you should go to the Chiefs, but we'll see how the money goes. Wherever the money,
wherever the money is.
Follow the money.
Follow the money, D-Hop. Follow the money.
Follow the money.
Let's talk a little bit of baseball. Shit.
Oh, jeez. Speaking of that.
Well, not anything too crazy, but I just want to tip my hat, give a little bit of flowers to Imane's Baltimore Orioles. Imane, aren't you glad I told you to root for those guys? I mean, look at them. 14 games above 500. They're in second place in the AL East, and they're just balling out right now. They're playing great baseball. They have a really young, youthful identity, so I just want to tip my hat. I anticipated them coming up and making a splash this year, being that they have some of the best prospects in baseball as well as one of the best farm systems now. They've been stocking up, pushing for something like this for the past few years, following the Rays blueprint. And here they are. So shout out to the Orioles.
Shout out to the Orioles, man. They finally got their shit together. That farm system finally started kicking in after being dog shit for years and years and years. And yeah, I'm happy for them.
The craziest part is their number two prospect now. Their pitcher that they were very excited about, Grayson Rodriguez. They had to send him down. He has an 80 ERA. Like they're doing all that with their top pitching prospect,
And John Means still has a torn
UCL. They're doing this with an amazing group of players. Like Jorge Mateo has come out and been
Yankees prospect.
Yeah, Jorge Mateo, who was a prospect for it felt like forever, 15 years. He was forever.
It was him and Ahmed Rosario. You remember those debates?
Yeah,
back then, like literally 2015.
And then he wound up in Oakland, like Oakland's farm system. He was a prospect there. Like finally he hit. Like they've done a great job all around. I think at the trade deadline they're going to be the most active.
No, he's Aaron Hicks. You're right. You're right. I mean, that's Aaron Hicks. You guys just signed to a professional deal. I don't know about that. He's not going to contribute, but he's there.
I know this is going to sound silly. Don't count out Aaron Hicks because
I won't, especially in the AL East. I won't.
He's a guy who was really good for a long time, for a good amount of years.
Bro, he was nasty. He had a good era with the Yankees. It's sad that it came to the end that it did. So,
but I mean, that team. Get as much professional talent as you can on it, and then once the trade deadline comes around, if they're still in this spot, they could be in a really interesting situation. Like it's gonna be a crazy trade deadline because there's gonna be a lot of free agents next year.
Yep.
So
it's gonna get interesting. I need my Mets to fucking do something with
I'm
this
trying to
pitching
look at the score
for this trade deadline because it's really looking pathetic for them. I thought they were back, and then they just go right back to being fucking stinky. They can't pitch. Their bullpen's dog shit. We spent all this fucking money on these old farts that are underperforming, and now we're looking stupid. But there's nothing we could really do about DeGrom. DeGrom was out of there.
He was out of there.
He's also not pitching either. Like, he's been hurt for the last 2 months anyway. Like,
and that would have been the same shit for them if he was on the Mets. So like we try to replace him with Verlander, AL Cy Young guy, and
he got roughed up.
He is looking like ski mask right now. It's looking real ski maskish. Scherzer got caught with the fucking tack. He hasn't been the same since.
Bro.
He hasn't been the same since.
He's a double.
I'm just saying. So I'm over here like, what the fuck are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Cookie Carrasco fucking is the worst pitcher I've seen in the MLB this year.
Yeah.
He's fucking dog shit. Peterson fucking stinks. McGill ain't living up to his potential at all.
I can't believe
we lost Edwin Diaz. Yeah. The pitching staff is a fucking nightmare.
It is.
And we need something at the trade deadline to fucking do something or we're fucked.
Garrett Cole, once again, the best pitcher in baseball. We're back. We're back, baby. Worth the money. Let's go. That's the sound for Garrett Cole. Let's go. I mean, hey, he's been dealing. He's been dealing. That's at least what I could say is that my ace has been, doing his thing. So let everybody else get healthy. If Rodon's a ski mask right now, but if he could get on the field, come playoff time, if he could get out there, I'm not going to give him full ski mask unless it's literally a calendar year. That point, then that's a nasty bag.
Paul, stop it. The Phillies fucking suck.
Yeah,
they're even way worse than the fucking Mets.
That's in Philly.
The Mets be sunning the Phillies all year, every year. You guys are our fucking hoes. Get out of here.
Nothing through 3 right now. They're facing pitching with a 9 ERA. That's
interesting.
Senga looks good so far, though. So
Senga's good.
That's the one bright spot.
And Alvarez. I'd say Alvarez.
Alvarez. Yeah. No, the young guys are great. The hitting is there. We're hitting the ball. We're doing our thing. Pete Alonso already has 20 hits, but we're putting up fucking 10 runs a game. It's still fucking losing.
Yeah.
It's still losing.
The games, I think it was Sunday. Sunday's game was the biggest fear for the Mets. They scored 10 runs. They looked like they had that game.
And then you blow
one, and it was 6-2, and then they lost 11-10. It's
yeah.
They lost like 11.
That's embarrassing.
11-10.
Alvarez looks great though. He's looking like the best catcher in baseball
Beatty
already.
Looks good. Alvarez looks good. Alonso obviously looks incredible. Lindor's still hitting for his OPS.
Marte needs to step up a little bit more.
Marte's been rough. They got to get Tommy Pham off this baseball team.
Yeah.
We got to get fucking Vogel back off the fucking team.
Vogelback will be on the team.
No, not my old twin, bro. That was my
he's
dog.
Fucked. Fuck him.
Vogelback will be on this team for a long time. Like, I know a lot of Mets fans want him gone. He's going to be on this team.
Buck loves him for some fuck.
Loves him.
It's fucking ridiculous.
I love Vogelback. I love that guy.
I loved him last year.
Yeah, I love the TikToks of the guy making fun of him. You ever see that? The super Italian Staten Islander.
Was that the guy also? He was at the
Burgers.
Yeah, Danny Burgers coming to the plate.
Yeah, he was at the Yankee game talking to Rizzo. So he's what's for dinner on Sundays? I was like, oh.
Yeah, he's a fan favorite. Shout out Danny Burgers.
Yeah.
Nah, he's not a fan favorite anymore.
Not anymore.
He's just Buck's favorite, and that's it. Because he's fucking stinks, and he's taking Viento's looks away.
Vientos has been terrible since he come up. I want to be clear about that. I know a lot of Mets fans have talked about that. Vientos is sitting, I think, 3 for 16. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not going well.
It ain't great, but
it's not great.
Still early in the MLB season, so I'm sure we'll be
still
back
first quarter
talking
of action.
Way much more like serious ball later on.
They just played their third.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to wrap this thing up. I appreciate y'all for coming through once again. It was a great episode. Make sure you check us out on Spotify. Check us out on Apple Podcasts. For real. That's where we're going to really get support and love. Hey, these T-shirts, they're coming out this week too. Yep. These T-shirts is coming out this week. New logo, new fire, great material, great printing.
Hell yeah.
For a great price.
And don't forget.
I'll let you know about that.
Drop a follow on the Instagram, Road to 30K. Coming very soon.
Very soon.
You already know. So make sure to drop a follow. All platforms. We appreciate all your guys' support. We're going to be back later on in the week, probably talking some more NBA, maybe a little Moneyline Madness action going on. We appreciate all the support. Thank you guys for tuning in. Catch you guys then. Peace.